Okay, recap today. I took two trades, both short, one loss and then one win. I'm up 266, right? And I've logged out. So coming into the day, I'm bullish. The reason I'm bullish is we've got this daily bullish gap towards these daily highs. Obviously, just overall, we are bullish. So I'm bullish. First of all, I want to see longs from this 15-minute gap, right? Judah's into the gap, but we just do not get any longs. We take these relative equal London lows, which were a possible target, but again, I was bullish. And then we've also got this Asia low, which is also relative equal with just like there's a 15-minute low over here, which is very, very close to, right? So we go, so if you go on the 1 minute, you don't get any longs, right? Once we take these London lows, as you can see, we displace below them and then we trade up down to here. Once we're here, look, we are about 20 points away from the Asia low, right? I'm not looking for longs anymore, okay? I do not expect this 15-minute gap to deliver us long, because if it was, especially if open, we would have just tapped it and then flew, but we didn't, right? We went for London low. We displaced below London low, and then we got that close to them lows. If this was a protected low, I could possibly look for longs, but because it's a relative equal, you do want it to be taken when we're this close. Obviously, if it was protected, you'd say that we got this close, we're rejecting, let's take some longs somewhere here. You know, and I'm sure a lot of people did take some longs somewhere here, right, and lost. Like, there was this 1 minute inverse, or there was a 30-second inverse to an unminute unfilled 5. You know, I'm sure some people tried this because obviously, yeah, the bias is bullish, but I just think that's a pattern trade because of how close we are to these lows, right? So how did I lose on shorts? The first short I tried was this one here, right? I like this because we pulled back. We got a 30-second inverse long, which I didn't expect to work, and I thought a lot of people, you know, would have tried it. Once we get this huge displacement candle, I waited for a bit of a pullback, which was around here, and then I entered short, going for this target, 2R, and it just didn't work, right? We just chopped a bit, and then we pulled back. This was a bit of an early entry, and this was just me going off the fact that we wanted to just, you know, dump, because we dumped 150 points. Here we had a little pullback, just dumped. I was just expecting a little pullback and then a dump because of how close we were, but we didn't get it right. What we did was we retraced properly to the 5-minute gap, which obviously, you know, you could have said, oh, well, you're taking it over a 5-minute gap. A lot of times in these scenarios, we won't go and tap this gap. We'll leave it as a breakaway gap and we'll just continue trading lower, especially when we're this aggressive. So I'm happy to take this first one. Then come up, trade this gap, drop a bit, and then we get this displacing candle. I think I took this in the 1 minute. Yeah, we get this nice displacing candle here. Entered short on here. Obviously, do have the 1 minute gap here, but like I say, if I've got enough conviction, I don't need to wait for it, and especially because it's so low, and especially because this candle is very nice. And like, obviously, if I did wait for the 1 minute gap, my entry would have been here, so it's pretty much no trade, right? Yeah, it would have been like that, which is just, yeah, it's not very good compared to my entry, which was my stop was here. Target this low, it was 3.3R, right? So it's a lot better. So I'll take that there. We reject the 5-minute gap, displace, take that there, go break even at this low. We had a little bit of a weird thing was I got like my trade C froze and it was just like market too volatile. When we had this candle, it must have just moved so quick. I think it was like a few seconds to get this huge displacement. Let's see if I look at the 5-second chart. It was all within like 20 seconds. Okay, it wasn't that quick. But yeah, so we displaced. What I did was we took the low, we traded below it with this wick when this was a candle. I was just going to hold, because of how volatile we were, I was just going to hold it a bit longer. So what I did was I just trailed my stop to where my TP should have been. And obviously I got trailed out, but it was just my TP anyway, so it doesn't matter. I do have executions. I think, yeah, for both two trades. So there's the short that failed, and then there's the short there that ends up hitting. And yeah, so that's how I took shorts on a bullish day, because I didn't pattern trade, right? If I was just pattern trading, going, oh, we're bullish, 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 you know, this looks nice, internal sweep, displacement, CISD, take that, boom, long. Or even if you go break even at the 5 minutes, just an instant break even, or it's a loss, or it's just not very good. I don't like that. I do think longs now look good, right? Like if I didn't take this trade, I would have probably took something like this. Like that we put in this wick, trade higher, rebalance, displace. We'd probably tried something like this. and then you could have just literally targeted this high for 1.5R, or I'd probably be targeting, like, to be honest, these highs here because of how low resistance this is for 4.5. I do think this will work. Obviously, we are in a bearish 15-minute gap and 5-minute, but I see no reason for us to go lower, right? I think this wick has done what it needs to do, so I'd be more than happy to be in longs now. But obviously, taking a loss and then a win, being up 266, I'm on 4 winning days now, so I need one more for a payout. I'm up 4.7k. I don't see any point putting more risk on the table, especially not today when I've already traded in that. I don't see any point putting more risk on this long because, it could have just failed, right? We could have just continued the bearish trend. But yeah, so that was today. Hopefully that makes sense why I caught them shorts. Obviously, the first one was unfortunate. I don't think I did anything wrong. Obviously, yeah, there was the 5-minute gap, blah, blah, blah. But I think in that specific scenario, not waiting for the 5-minute gap to be tapped is not the worst thing ever, because a lot of the time we will just do a little pullback like this. We had a rejection wick and we'll just run lower, right, and take these draws because we're so close. But in this case, we didn't. We retraced and then did it, but obviously we catch them shorts as well. So we're up, even though we tried the first one. Obviously, the first one worked. Obviously, I risked less on the second one as well, by the way, just so I'm only up 266. I think I risked like 300 on this one, and then I risked like 150 on this one because obviously I was already down. I didn't want to lose too much, and this was a lot better risk to reward. I don't know if the numbers add up, but it was something along them lines, right? So that's today. Hope that makes sense. And yeah, I do think these longs will work. So that's something to look out for to see if they do. Yeah,